As Russia's war on Ukraine rages on, there's a new stark warning from U.S. officials claiming Iranian troops on the ground in Crimea are aiding Russian drone strikes, marking the first official accusation of Tehran's direct involvement in Putin's war efforts. Joining us now to break it all down, Russian-born former U.S. Defense Intel officer and author of Putin's Playbook, Rebekah Koffler, and former State Department Deputy Special Envoy under President Trump, Ellie Cohanim. Thanks to the both of you for being here. Rebekah, I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask you every single time that we have you on. How worried should the U.S. be about this very latest development coming out of Ukraine?
Absolutely, extremely worried, Todd. This is the schizophrenia of the Biden administration's foreign policy. What's happening right now, Biden has pushed Russia and Iran together. Russia has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. Iran is trying to get the nuclear capability with the sole intent to be able to target the United States. What could possibly go wrong with this incredibly dangerous alliance for our country?
Yeah, Ellie, to that point, I'm trying to understand Iran's thinking in all this. Why are they doing it? Is it because they really think it's in their best interest to cozy up to Russia, which is, by all estimates, losing this war? Is it to throw salt in our face, throw sand in our face, or do they ultimately think this is going to help them with the Biden administration that, quite frankly, has laid down for them when it comes to this Iran nuclear deal?
Todd, Joe Biden has created a moment of danger and global disarray for us right now. He seems incapable of distinguishing between our allies and our enemies. And it's well over time for Joe Biden to walk away from the JCPOA failed Iran deal Vienna talks. Right now, as we speak, there are Iranian protesters in 5 weeks of protests demanding their basic human rights. And Joe Biden gives lip service to the Iranian people. He says that he stands with the Iranian people. He tells Ukraine that he stands with Ukraine. But right now, we know that Iran is responsible, this regime is responsible for civilian deaths, both in Iran and in Ukraine. It's time for Joe Biden to take action. And we really need him to take action in order to put greater global security for people all around the world.
Rebekah, when we spoke earlier this week, the topic was, will Russia use some sort of nuclear explosion in some way, shape, or form? Unclear what that would be, but the question is, will they? I can't imagine, as we get to the end of this week, involving Iran, which we're all fearful is a nuclear terror organization to begin with. I can't imagine that your thinking on that has improved so that we are can all relax all of a sudden. Am I right?
Well, absolutely, Todd. Joe Biden himself admitted that he brought us on the brink of a nuclear Armageddon. But there are several steps before on the escalation ladder that Russia has developed. And in fact, Russia has an escalation dominance doctrine. So when you bring Iran into the mix, and Iran effectively is becoming an active combatant in this war, Russia can benefit from Iran's ballistic missile capability, which is the most robust in the region. Only Israeli missile capabilities are better than Iran's. And so this is escalating right now. We are pretty much in a spiral. You know, nuclear is not necessarily imminent. There are other capabilities such as cyber warfare,
right,
space warfare, and Iran is giving them not only drones, not only, training their forces, but additional capabilities in the arsenal can definitely boost Russia's posture in Ukraine.
Understood.
And it will have global, like Ellie said, I 100% agree with her. It can have global ramifications. And Joe Biden is thinking, he has a tunnel vision right now. He needs to be thinking globally and America first.
Well, that's a jumping off point.
First.
I want to get to Ellie because we're running out of time. Ellie, Rebekah just mentioned globally. Obviously, Joe Biden's not going to solve this problem. He hasn't done anything. You said as much. What do we need from our allies around the world to solve this potentially deadly and disastrous issue?
Well, the Islamic Republic of Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism in the world. And I think the Europeans for a long time thought this was a Middle East problem. Right now, by Iran giving Russia drone technology and having their own troops on the ground in Crimea, they have proven to the Europeans this is not a local problem. And so there's two steps the Europeans can take. #1, they can recall their own diplomats that are based in Iran, in the Islamic Republic of Iran. And #2, they need to expel Iran's so-called diplomats from Europe. The time is now.
Hopefully they're listening. Rebekah and Ellie, thank you so much on these very, very sober topics. We appreciate it.